Hello my friends, this is Sylvie Curry, Lady of Q, and once again I'm in my kitchen. Today I decided to do an impromptu recipe. I've been seeing a lot of posts on both Instagram and Facebook of pork char siu. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to try that. I've got the ingredients, why not put it together? So I went in search of a recipe and I found one that I liked that was by a person that I respect, and that being Janice Smella, a Smellicue. So I'm using her recipe to make a pork belly char siu. Now this can be done with pork, pork shoulder, pork butt, ribs, pork belly. So we're going to do this. Come on. Pork belly char siu. These are the ingredients I'm going to be using. I've got about a 1/4 teaspoon of 5-spice powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil, a tablespoon of hoisin sauce, about a tablespoon of Shaoxing wine or Chinese cooking wine, about a tablespoon of soy sauce, tablespoon of molasses, 2 tablespoons of honey, about a teaspoon of salt, and recipe called for 2 cloves of garlic. In my head, a clove is a whole bulb, but I backed off, so that's 4 cloves of garlic. An additional ingredient that I decided to put in here is a little bit of red coloring. This is sometimes used to give char siu that nice, vibrant red color. It wasn't in this recipe, but what the heck. I'm going to add maybe about a 1/2 teaspoon of this. We'll see how the color turns out. Here I have some pork belly. This is a little bit less than 2 pounds. I think it was like 1 3/4 pounds. And it's skinless, but it does have, this is the fat cap of it. And I'm going to be using this marinade on this pork belly. We're going to put it in a Ziploc type bag with the marinade and let it sit in the refrigerator for no less than 3 or 4 hours and possibly overnight. There we go. Nothing left to do but to wait and let the marinade do its thing. Pork belly has been marinating in the refrigerator in the char siu sauce for approximately 5 hours. I'm now going to take it out of the marinade, and because I have all this red food coloring in here, it's going to be a mess. We'll try to get around that. Try to wipe off most of it while it's in the bag. And I'm going to put this on this little plate and reserve it for a while until we get ready to grill it. In the meanwhile, I'm going to take the residual marinade, I'm going to put it in this glass container, and I'm going to do something with it that probably isn't typical. Instead of boiling it, I'm going to microwave it. And that's just easiest for me to do right now. This is about a 1/2 cup of marinade that I've just microwaved. I gave it 1.5 minutes and got it to boil. And that will ride off any impurities that might be in there during the time that I had the pork belly marinating in it. So we're going to hold that to the side. And this is going to be used to baste the pork belly during the cooking process. I've got my kettle lit, and I've got some royal oak charcoal in there. And I started the fire with the tumbleweeds. So it's going pretty good right now, at least on one side. I'm going to be cooking this pork belly indirect, which means I'm going to start it off on this side where it's not hot, and the heat from the charcoal will cook it because I don't want it to cook really fast to start out. Later on, I may sear it depending upon what temperatures I get and what color I get on it. Got my pork belly out and getting ready to put it on the fire, indirect. Only got one hand, so I hope I can get this video right. I am going to start by putting it meat side down. And we're going to let that go for about 15-20 minutes. Then we're going to rotate it. And we'll continue rotating throughout the cook until we're done. You want to reach at least, I'd say it's between a 155, 165 temp internal. We are 20 minutes into this cook. It's time for me to turn it over. But first, before I do that, let's do a little basting. This is the same marinade that we used earlier. Now I'm going to go that side down. And baste this side. And we're going to let this go for another 15-20 minutes. This is my second turn. It's been on for 40 minutes now. And we still have a little ways to go to get to temp. I'm going to close the vent down some so the fire won't be so hot. Temp 160. Looking pretty. And ready to take off for a little bit of a rest.